go, baby!
Hello and welcome, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between. This is another edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. We are the show that dives into the catalog, the discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. I am your co-host, Mark Meyer. Joining me, as always, from deep in the heart of God knows winter. Corey, are you warm? Are you stable? Are you okay? Do you need a lifeline?
I'm not okay. No, I'm not warm. I do need a lifeline. It's miserable here. It's April, 13th as we record this, and we are getting a once in a generation blizzard up here in Saskatchewan. It's hitting Montana, North Dakota, Manitoba, and us here in Saskatchewan. And it's going to last for 3 days. I'm shocked the power is still on, actually, at this point, because we have almost a full foot of snow since this morning here, and it's just going to keep going all night. So and we talked about it last week, Mark. You said, everything was brown and the snow was gone. And then karma came and bit me right in the ass. And here we go again, right back into third winter.
Oh, God. Third winter. Yeah, no, that's a no for me, dog, with a second winter as it is. But hey, look, we are right back over here in my neck of the woods. We're right back in Tornado Alley. So as we speak right now, the storm is passing through. It said, hey, we're going to start at 8 and probably go through till 10. I said, perfect. That's when we want to record. So hopefully my power stays on. But the lightning ensures that it's just going to keep getting stronger. But you know what? It is what it is. We're still here because we're dedicated to the show. We're dedicated to the audience, and we're dedicated to Van Halen. Weather be damned. Corey, we are not alone this time around. We actually have someone who was enthusiastic about coming on to the show. It's a rare thing, I think, but with the cult of Mariano lingering about, you would think that they would chase away all of our would-be guests, but not this one. This one said, I want to be on the show. This will be a fun time.
Let's welcome our special guest for this week, Van Halen super fan, Kelsey. Kelsey, how's it going here tonight?
I'm having a great time. My dog is sleeping next to me. She's just chilling. She's here for the good vibes. I'm here for the good vibes. And I'm ready to talk some Van Halen.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We reached out to a bunch of Van Halen super fans, and we had David on a couple of shows ago. He did a great job. And we're just very psyched that you came on. And actually was, and of course, podcast people can't see, but I'm looking at the wall behind you, and you have a nice little shrine to Van Halen set up in your place there.
Yeah. So funny story about how I found all of these. I had 1984, I had Van Halen 2, and I had Van Halen 1 already. And those were the only three that I have. And I was like, I need to complete the David collection. So I was driving to the east side of Indy, which is like a pretty significant drive from me. And I was going to a wig store and like a beauty store, and picked up some stuff. And then on my way back, I noticed, I was actually driving there, and I saw a record store that I'd never seen before. And I'd been over here a few times, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to need to stop there. So I pull in, I walk into the most amazing record store I've ever seen. And I'm not really a record store person because sometimes they're boring, and also they're not really dedicated to our type of music. So I go in and I'm like tranced by all of this. And I immediately go to the Van Halen section and found the last three, right? Yeah, the last three. And so I had them over here, but then I used to have Hotel California up here and then a bunch of records. And then I took it down and I put all of the Van Halen albums, all the Van Halen albums up there, and then some of the sleeves. So they sleep above me.
They take you to the rock and roll dreamland that everyone so craves, but few are able to attain it. So I applaud you on that. That's very cool. Very cool. And thank you for being with us, Kelsey. Kelsey, you know how the show works, I believe. We spin the wheel. and the wheel gives us a song, and we discuss the song. We don't know what the song's going to be. We don't prep ahead of time. We just go with the flow. But what I would like to ask, and I'll ask this to both of you because this is what I like to do. We have this thing where we like to manifest the particular song we want to hear, but maybe not even the song, maybe an album. Is there a particular, since you are the guest, is there a particular album or song that maybe we haven't done yet that you would like to try and manifest that you just really want to talk about today?
Anything. Well, okay. Basically, Fair Warning. I feel like that is an unsung album of Van Halen, and it's my favorite album. And I have Fair Warning tatted on my wrist, like down here. Yeah. And that was my first Van Halen tattoo. And when I went into the shop, the guy was like, so why do you want this? And I was like, it's my, yeah, no, basically. You know how tattoo shops are.
Yeah, but they never ask that question. It's never, why do you want this? It's, where do you want it? And it's like, are you willing to pay this much for it?
Right. I think we were just sitting down. Like, I think we were just talking about it because he put on, he let us aux and my friend put on Motley Crue. And so then we started talking about it and I was like, yeah, that's what this tattoo is for. And so I said, it's my favorite Van Halen album. And they both go, wow, that's a first.
I mean, if I'm being honest, if I think back to conversations I've had, it's not exactly everyone. I mean, it's definitely not unanimously everyone's favorite albums. That's for sure. That's definitely the first I've heard it. But I think that's a good thing because the album has obviously a sentimental value to you. It means something. It hits you in the right spot. That's all well and good. That's why we're here. You know, we all have different, my favorite album's different from Corey's. You know, we have different experience. What matters is how we feel about the band.
Correct.
That's a great story. And if we get something from Fair Warning, I would love to hear about it later. We've only done one track off of Fair Warning, and it was Dirty Movies.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Damn. Yeah.
We both love that.
That was a good episode. Yeah, that was a really good episode.
I love that song. Oh my God. Amazing.
And I'll be honest, Fair Warning, most of that album, and I probably mentioned this on the last one, is probably my least listened to, well, not the least, sorry, Gary Jerome, but it's probably the least listened to Roth album, at least up until him coming back. So yeah, my extensive knowledge on Fair Warning is limited at best. So if we are treated to Fair Warning and it's a song that is on par, at least for me, as like Dirty Movies was, then we're in for a good time. Corey, how about you? What would you like to manifest?
Well, aside from Hear About It Later, which I would love to hear tonight, Kelsey actually put something on her Twitter not that long ago about The Dream Is Over from For Unlawful.
Oh my God.
We were talking forever. That's the one album we haven't had a single song from.
Not one.
Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
if we drew that track tonight, I would be very happy because I love that song.
And Pound Cake.
Of course. Everyone loves Pound Cake.
Such a good song.
If we're getting a For Unlawful song, the one I want is one that Corey is not keen on, but so I really kind of hope for that one. If we get For Unlawful.
Is it Spanked?
It's not Spanked, but that would be funny. I kind of want funny. That just to watch your reaction, but no, I was thinking of Right Now. But we'll see what happens. As always, though, I have my particular song that I really want to manifest, try to get that going. I have not revealed it yet because I will reveal it when it hits. My lovely lady Christy is always manifesting her own song, so if we happen to land on it, she has no choice in the matter. We're stopping.
Yep.
We're stopping. We're hitting pause, and I'm gonna go grab her, and she's gonna join the show.
Fair enough.
But that remains to be seen, though. It's all in the hands of the wheel. Sometimes wheel likes to be fickle. Sometimes wheel likes to throw us a bone. We have a guest, so maybe the wheel will be nice, but it's all in her hands. Corey, what do you say we let Mr. Sammy take us away?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Coming up to, it's going to be a For Unlawful song.
Oh
my God.
Judgment Day.
Ooh.
We got one, and it's not the one we wanted.
It's not the one we wanted. No, but it's
Damn.
Judgment Day. Kelsey, your thoughts on the spin of the wheel here?
God, I mean, I've only listened to that song a handful of times, and it's not one of my favorite Carnal Knowledge, but I do respect it. So
I'm kind of in the same boat. Yeah, it's not my favorite either. It was the second track off of For Unlawful. I don't hate it as much as some on that album. I'm looking at you, Spanked.
It's right there.
Yeah, but and they used to do this song live on that tour, so I think there's actually a version on live right here, right now as well.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm very happy we finally got a For Unlawful song, Mark. But yeah, it would have been nice if it was a Pound Cake or The Dream Is Over.
I would have loved Pound Cake.
Yeah. But it could have been worse. Let's think of it that way.
It definitely could have been worse. Judgment Day is definitely not the one where I'm just like, oh God. But that said, just like Kelsey, I've only really listened to that one a handful of times. I do like this album a lot, but that one's one that I'll listen to a few times, and then if it comes back around, I go, yeah, I can change that one. It's fine. I'll go to another one. So it's been a hot second. So I'm very curious to see how my perception has either changed, or will it remain the same of me going, yeah, I like it, or we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Think about some of the big albums that came out in 1991, right? And For Unlawful was a pretty big one as well, right? Like there were some big singles off this thing: Pound Cake, Run Around, Right Now, which you mentioned, Top of the World. So yeah, to get one of the deeper cuts off that album is kind of cool. What do you say, guys? Should we give it a spin?
Let's do it.
I mean, we spun it. Now we just need to spin the record.
All right, here's a little Judgment Day from 1991's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
How did I forget about that?
I have to say this every time I hear Eddie do that, like the thing that
the whammy bar. Yeah. Man.
Oh my God.
The whammy bar out.
It like he does it at the most like unexpected times. Like it's so good. And that's why that's why I was like,
tasteful
oh my God.
Whammies.
Yeah, because it can be overdone and not well.
Yeah, I agree. But man, I would say this man kind of, I don't want to say revolutionized, but he certainly put a little touch of class to the whammy, and I completely forgot he uses it in such a way in this one. It's so great. Comments from you, Corey?
Oh, just the production, right? Like obviously Eddie sounds amazing,
yeah,
right? And then Alex comes in playing the hi-hat, fantastic intro, and so many great Van Halen songs start off with those two, and that's how we started off here. But I just love the sound of this album, and producers were Andy Johns and Ted Templeman, along with Van Halen. Ted Templeman, of course, the long time.
Ted Templeton,
yeah, exactly. Coming back into the fold for Unlawful, and just we're 23 seconds in, but this song sounds amazing. All right, let's keep her going. All right, Mark, you're a fan of Sammy Hagar's lyrics. What did you think of the opening stanza? It's my life. Get off my ass. Get out of my face, man. I don't see no problem. Kicking back ain't kicking you. No. Anyway, if I make them, then I solve them.
I knew that you were going to throw it to me almost immediately after we started going into the lyrics, because, okay, so maybe he's not channeling his inner poet for this opener. No, but hey, what are you gonna do? He is feeling the vibe to the the rock and drive that Eddie and Alex are throwing him. And when you listen to this riff, doesn't it make you want to just tell people to get off your ass and just want to kick back and solve problems?
I hear you, but I'm curious to what Kelsey thinks about Sammy Hagar as a lyricist, because I get the feeling, Kelsey, you're more of a David Lee Roth fan, and maybe, yeah. So your thoughts, maybe David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar. What side do you land on?
So this is so funny because I have a bone to pick with you about Sammy Hagar.
Excellent.
So I was sitting there thinking, because I listened to last week's episode today, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, you've heard Drop Dead Legs, right? Mm-hmm. That song is giant butt. Like, I'm sorry, David. Like, it's, but like, I think, okay, Love Walks In is about an alien abduction, but I would not have guessed that unless I analyze the lyrics. Like, it's such a good song, and like Eddie's keyboards in that is like transcendent. So I think I wouldn't say like Sammy's a horrible lyricist. There we go. And but I don't think David's great. I don't think David's like astronomically better than Sam. So
thank you.
I would say they're pretty level. I think Sammy should get a little more slack because he has an amazing voice. So it really doesn't matter what he says.
You will get no argument from me on that one. Absolutely. He does have an amazing voice. Yeah.
Exactly. David, you can hear it a lot better. It's not as forgiving, which is like why, God, what's the song? Like Why Dirty Boobies is so good. Like, it's amazing. So anyways.
But
I was like, I can't wait to bring that up.
Point proven, Corey. No, but you're right. And I mean, the further we get into this song, I think the content of the song, as far as lyrics go, will show out a little bit more. But you're right. Lyrics wise, this opener is not the greatest. It's not the strongest, but it's Van Halen. It doesn't have to be, just as long as the riffs are rocking.
Correct.
And I will concede that Sammy does have some good lyrics in his catalog. Finish What You Started is probably the best song written about blue balls that I've ever heard. So I'm absolutely going to give the man his due, and he is a much better singer than David Lee Roth. I'm just saying on the whole. I probably.
No, you know what? That's a song I would have loved to hear. Finish What You Started. I would have loved to have heard that one.
You are just going to have to come back on the show then, Kelsey. And,
I know.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
I haven't done that one yet. So yeah, that's time will tell. But what do you say we hear some more Judgment Day?
Go for
Absolutely.
it.
That's right. Yeah. Woo! Many plans to waste. Ain't no future here. Got no face, got no religion. Oh, tell me why should I carry on? Why should I try? I just slide on by. Never bad enough to crucify me. Until Judgment Day, I'll bear the cross on Judgment Day.
All right. Seems like everybody was enjoying that. Kelsey, your thoughts on the chorus?
Have you guys ever heard You've Got Another Thing Coming?
Oh, of course.
That's what this song sounds like that to me.
Absolutely.
Like the guitar, like the like that's what this reminds me of. And it's like, which is great.
Like double timed. Yeah, a little bit. I could hear that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this sounds like something to me. And then I realized it was Judas Priest.
I thought that bridge was kind of nice though. Why should I even care? Or even why should I try? Like a nice lyrical refrain, and the melody was kind of nice too. So a really nice kind of break before you get pounded by that riff again into the chorus. So I don't know, Mark. So far, so good for me. What do you think?
Exactly. And this is what I meant about, I think the lyrics are going to show out a little bit more, because now he's telling you, this is about, at least it seems like this is about him saying, you know what, I'll live my life. I'm going to do the things I want to do. And, I will deal with the consequences on Judgment Day, should it come. It's very, very spiritually inspired, or non-spiritually inspired, however you want to look at it. But yeah, there's meaning behind it.
Mhm.
Good call, because the Sammy songs we've covered so far, I don't think there was a ton of meaning behind.
No, not. I mean, yeah.
Like
not
inside
with most of them. Yeah. You're
Or
right. You're right.
The ballad we did off balance too, where it just anything that ended with ly, he kind of threw in there. To love somebody foolishly and stuff like that. Just anything with an ly at the end, he just kind of threw in there. But this song actually has a meaning to it.
If we're gonna poke holes in some of the lines of lyrics, then I've got some notes on David Lee Roth stuff that we've covered. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, I know. But so far so good. Sammy is killing it so far, and the band sounds amazing.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I just want to do nothing. Nothing lost. Tell me, how can I lose? When I'm starting out with nothing, tell me why should I?
God, their harmonies are so good. That's one of my favorite parts of Van Halen. Like, genuinely, Eddie and Michael's voice, it's like heaven together. It's so good.
And that's
Big
a great
ups to
point. We
Michael
talk a lot about Michael Anthony. We don't talk enough about Eddie in his vocals. And
that's true. Yeah.
How he meshes with Michael Anthony. Yeah, it is. It's pretty perfect, isn't it, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
It is. And I mean, it's hard to talk about Eddie's vocals when we're talking about Eddie's doing, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Michael, who, if you hear a high harmony, you automatically know that's him, because that dude just can rock that higher register like nobody's business. This one's no exception. He's doing what he's doing. There's not a lot of, at least I'm not hearing a ton of crazy bass work. He's holding down the rhythm with Alex really good. So awesome, kudos, but we knew he could do that. But I'm not hearing him really like show off or show out a little bit, like sometimes he can do when he's allowed to. And I'm assuming also he actually played bass on this album, but that could be a huge assumption on my part.
I haven't read anything to the contrary, and I'm sure if it was, someone will let us know.
We're not experts, so we don't know. We weren't there.
Maybe Kelsey knows. Kelsey, did Michael Anthony play bass on this track?
I mean, as far as I know, I read Eddie's book, so as far as I know, yeah, he did. He didn't talk much about this.
There's actually not a lot out there on this album. Just that Ted Templeman came back for the first time since 1984,
and they performed at the 1991 Music Video Awards for Pound Cake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's interesting because this is like one of their like really big albums, if I'm not mistaken. So it's interesting. There's not a lot of like a ton of information about the goings-ons about it.
I think the band was just kind of getting along, and there just wasn't a lot of outside stuff kind of interfering. Like the album did well. The band was getting along. The tour was huge. They recorded a live album called Live Right Here Right Now. Off this tour, they played most of this album actually on tour during those shows. So the band seemed to be a fan of this album, and so did the fans.
Well, there you go.
right, Mark. I don't think there's been an Eddie solo yet in 22 episodes that we have not liked. What were your thoughts on that one?
Oh, I hated it. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm never gonna hate an Eddie solo unless he just straight up doesn't, try, and it shows. This is I say it all the time, but I'm just gonna keep saying it until it just doesn't make sense anymore. He's not playing to show off entirely. He's playing a solo that fits the song. That's what this does. It fits the song. It's not as quick as some of his solos can be, because sometimes he does his thing and gets in and out, and that's all it needs. Sometimes that's all it needs. And then sometimes, as we've discussed on the show before, Eddie can go for a long while. This was sort of kind of in between there. He kind of fakes you out. It gives you a little bit of the little fretboard tapping just as a little intro to what would become the actual solo. But to me, that's just like, it's one big solo. It's just like it keeps on going. But it's still, he knew when to end out. He didn't do it. He didn't overly show off like he could and like he has in the past. And we love him for it. This one just felt like the natural way to end it. It felt like this was the solo that was needed for the song. It's a perfect Eddie solo.
All right, Kelsey, what did you think?
I loved it. I mean, there's so many things I love about Eddie's playing, and it's because he can write such a perfect solo for a song and not make it like too shreddy or too like, too show offy. He like exactly what he says. Like I read in his book that he never like wrote out any of the solos. He just like did them. And like that, I think you can tell in his playing because it just feels so natural. It doesn't feel like he's like reading off something or trying to memorize something. Like it just sounds like he just was played for the song. It was great. So.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I'm really discovering about Eddie Van Halen is he's able to perform a solo for the song. And you think of some guys, and I always throw out the Vernon Reid example from Living Color, from Cult of Personality. He has two solos in that song. And it seems to be like a race to solos. Yeah. Like how many notes can I play in this time allotted for the solo? Eddie doesn't do that, right? He takes his time, and it always fits the song. And that's one thing I really appreciate about Eddie Van Halen solos. He could go out there and shred it and play the longest, most intricate solo you've ever heard, but doesn't. And that's fantastic.
Right.
And for the record, I do love that Living Color solo or solos.
Yeah, there's two.
There's multiple ones. Yes.
Yeah,
I wanted to get your thoughts on that, on those little drum fills that Alex sort of let fly.
Oh, and he's a master of that, especially when Eddie's soloing, right? He's got to throw a little something in there. Let little brother know that big brother is, behind the drum kit too. You know how much I appreciate Alex as a drum player. But I want to throw out another compliment for Sammy. That howl he gave right before the solo, fantastic. Yes. We always talk about David Lee Roth and his howls in the earlier stuff. There's a great one from Sammy.
It's almost easier to not mention Sammy's just because it's so the word is not predictable. The word is it's just kind of he effortlessly just kind of lets him go, and it doesn't feel like he's reaching or he's going for something. It's just, no, this is how his voice naturally is just going to project. This is what's going to come out. And he's hitting a lot of higher notes in the upper register. Whether he's hitting the notes precisely or not, it doesn't matter. But he's throwing them out there in the verse parts, especially. But yeah, Sammy can, make no mistake, you guys, Sammy can howl with the best of them. Sometimes he can howl better than the rest of them. And don't you all forget it.
All right, let's keep her rocking.
Hey man, everything's all right. Yeah.
Mwah. Mwah. Oh my God, that whammy bar. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I concur. Mark, you're a guitar player. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Oh, that harmonic squeal.
Yeah.
Right there. Like, and then like giving it like a little slight little whammy to bring it back down. Almost a dive bomb I've mentioned dive bombs before, where you let it squeal and then just let it drop like it's a bomb going down. That's almost what he did, but he didn't. He just let it fly. He's like, but he gave it just a little bit of that whammy to let you know. It's like, I can bring it down if I want to, but this song's pretty whammy heavy already as it is, with the wah, 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 wah. Kind of like the precursor to dubstep, if you're into that. But I kid. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm a big fan of Zakk Wylde and Killswitch Engage, and those two, Zakk and that band use pinch harmonic squeals like it's going out of style, and I love every second of it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. And if Eddie Van Halen's gonna do it, more power.
Judgment Day from For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. Wow. Mark Meyer, your thoughts?
I didn't realize exactly until the very end when I really started listening. Alex is keeping that kick drum consistently moving. Like, he's not necessarily doing like a double bass tapping, but I mean, he's just, if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of a single bass, single kick drum player, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm completely wrong about that, feel free to correct me. I'm not a drummer expert as well. Among other things I'm not an expert on, but it just sounded like he's keeping the kick at a constant sort of motion, and that's impressive, because there's not a lot of respite in this song. There's the occasional break where Eddie does this little, like, ornamentation with the guitar, and then when they switch from verse to chorus or the bridge, but I mean, not a ton of respite. This song keeps driving. So Alex is actually doing quite a lot back there that you might not realize. So more power to you, Alex. That's awesome. It's great. Every time we listen to a new track, I'm more and more of a fan of his. Not that I wasn't before, but I was lukewarm on his playing, but that has changed. So you win, universe. You win. It's fine. It's like I have seen the error of my ways. And also, what better way to end a song like this than with a Sammy howl? We just got done talking about the howls, and he just ended the song with a superb one. And the refrain of Eddie's little like tap intro solo brings it back. Gotta love it. Yeah, that's good stuff, Corey.
He really got up there, Sammy did, on that one note, didn't he? Like,
oh yeah.
Even for Sammy Hagar, that was impressive. Like, we listen to so much Dave, and he's so kind of strained by his vocal ability, whereas Sammy doesn't have those limitations, right? And he really let it loose on this track. Kelsey, what were your thoughts?
Well, it's funny. I just remembered when we started talking about this, because I was listening to his lyrics, and in Eddie's book, I read that he hated Sam's lyrics. Like, I don't know if it was like the entire time they were together, but he specifically talked about like balance and like, oh god, what was the other one? Amsterdam. I think it was all on, like, it was on balance, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if he said anything else. I mean, although I could see him complaining about Cabo Wabo. That's another song I would have loved to hear. I would love to pick apart that song.
We can't do that episode until we have I feel like we can only do the Cabo Wabo episode when we each have some Cabo Wabo tequila to drink in honor of the episode, which I have had, and
I have some delicious. Right there.
Yeah. See, so I mean, Eddie might have hated those lyrics, but the joke was on him, because Cabo Wabo ended up being quite a fine product.
Right. Well, and I have a bottle of Cabo Wabo as decoration, like in my room. It's literally
so
sitting over there. I do not drink, but like not by like a personal choice, but I just not a fan of drinking. And
Fair.
but as soon as I turned 21, I was like, I'm buying myself a bottle of Cabo Wabo.
Yeah.
And it's unopened. It's just chilling over there. Nice decoration.
I think Sammy probably made more money from his booze than he did from anything else in his career.
Absolutely.
He did. That's why he's not mad about anything.
Yeah.
Anything at all, ever.
Not anything whatsoever.
Right.
All right, folks, it's time to vote. And we'll start with Kelsey because she's our guest. Kelsey, is this dream over or is this what dreams are made of?
I think this is this is what dreams are made of. I think it's great. I think it, like I said, it pleasantly surprised me. I was very impressed with how much I enjoyed it. So
Awesome. Mark Kameyer, what's your vote?
The vote is as follows. I have not listened to the song, as I mentioned before, in a long time, so I was curious to see how this would hold up because I've been burned with previous episodes in that regard, but then I've also been surprised. This, I was surprised because not only did I like it originally, now for whatever reason, I guess just the years have changed me. I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed this listen so much more. Maybe it's just because we do the show and we analyze it and we think about it and we really dive into what the guys are doing with the music and everything like that. But it's just gave me a further appreciation for the way I listen to the band in general. So this song is just a rock and drive. It's just a pure rock drive. And that is essentially what you want in Van Halen. I mean, sure, it's nice to get the party rock and everything like that, have a good time, laugh a little because Dave has said something really crazy and ridiculous, and that's fine. We love that. Or you want to hear just a great power ballad with some powerful vocals behind it, as Sammy is one to do. Or you can get the best of both worlds. You can just get a rock and drive with powerful vocals, rip roaring solos, and just a rhythm section that will not stop, because this rhythm section did not stop, and I love that. This is just a rockin' Van Halen tune. I know I like it just as much as I did in the past when I first heard it, but I think I appreciate it even more now, just because we do the show, because we analyze it. I think this track is absolutely what dreams are made of. And now the only question is, Corey, is the dream over for you, or does For Unlawful, our first track from For Unlawful on this show, is that what dreams are made of for you?
Well, I hate to be a contrarian, so so I'm not gonna be a contrarian. I love this song. This song is fantastic, and I do really love this album. I know we talked about when we get to For Unlawful, there's going to be some tracks that I don't like that I rip into. This is not one of them. One of the big things that Sammy haters, like all the guys who love David Lee Roth more than anything, will say is that the Sammy era had no balls. Like there weren't any rockin' tracks. It was all about the ballads and the keyboards and all that shit. Horse shit. Listen to this song. This song was a rocker from beginning to end. Sammy could rock just as well as Dave. And to me, this song is proof positive. Yeah, I rag on Sammy a little too hard on his lyrics sometimes. And Kelsey quite nicely called me out for that, and that's just wonderful. But here he had a theme. He was telling a story. I really appreciated that. And Sammy does have those songs where he does that really, really well. We just hadn't got those songs yet. This is our first one, I think, of Sammy's, where lyrically he had a theme towards it, and he really pulled it off. The band is fucking amazing here. Eddie's fantastic. Mike doesn't have a lot to do, but he's just locked in with Anthony or with Alex the entire time. And that rhythm section was just pounded. I thought the song sounded tremendous. The lyrics great. Everything worked for me. This is absolutely what dreams are made of.
For a moment there, I thought the Cult of Mariano took you away, just for a moment.
But you know what? We should bring up something, Mark, because last week we did Me Wise Magic. And both
Oh, yes,
Mark
we
and I
did.
were split on this one. And now we have
Mhm.
a tiebreaker vote here in Miss Kelsey. Kelsey,
okay.
I'm assuming you know the song Me Wise
Mhm.
Magic. What would your vote for that song be?
Oh God. Personally, God, I don't know if it's like so like black and white for me because I liked some things about it, but I did not like David's like low register. That's just not. I mean, I get it, and it's like it's cool, but sometimes it just doesn't fit. Like, there's not a lot of low voices in rock and roll, and like David is known very well for his like the smoothness and like his howls and like just how he uses his voice. Maybe not for the better because sometimes, but like I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie.
We
Wow.
can't all be doing Leonard Cohen impressions, Dave. So
It just
I'm
didn't
sorry.
fit.
Yeah, it
Just
doesn't
didn't fit.
Yeah, it
So
just
that's
doesn't-
awesome.
I mean, that's where we
Yeah.
were split. So there it
Mark,
is.
Mark, how do you think the Twitter poll went? Who do you think? What do you think the breakdown was?
I'm sure. I only looked at it one time, and then when I did, I went, "This is a conspiracy." So I'm quite sure I lost on the poll in that one.
I
but
saw
I'm
it.
gonna. Was it?
Yeah.
What was it? 75%?
85%.
Yeah, I was like,
85%.
I was gonna say it was like mostly.
Yeah.
Malarkey, erroneous on all counts. You all just I'm blaming the cult of Mariano. That's what I'm blaming this on.
You know,
because-
one listener actually suggested you got kicked in the head by one of David Lee Roth's high kicks, and that's why you voted it down. So
You know what?
Damn.
I would, and I would let the old bastard try to do it. Just
Same.
out of pity's sake. But,
Absolutely.
But to that fan, all I have to say is, hey, thanks for listening, bud. But that's why we do this. We do this show because we're fans, and we like to encourage other fans to listen and throw in their opinions as well, because we're not experts. None of us are experts. One of these days we're gonna have an expert on the show, but until that time happens, it's just Corey, myself, and a guest on occasion when we have them to just discuss the band that we enjoy to the best of our abilities in our own personal way. That's what we do. That's how we do the show. That's how Corey and I do the show. And today we were joined by Kelsey. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us. If you want, let the people know where they can find you on your socials and what's going on.
You can find me, pretty much all my socials are Kelsey Van Halen, Kelsey, and then Van Halen. So feel free.
give her a follow,
There
folks.
you go.
I highly recommend it. That's how we found her and invited her on the show, and she was nice enough to agree to come on, and hopefully she might agree to appear again on a future episode.
Oh my God, absolutely. I love it. I always say it's funny that we were just talking about this, but I always say, like, people always ask that question, like, well, are you a David fan or are you a Sammy fan? And I'm like, listen, Eddie sounds good regardless. So I will listen to both.
Exactly.
But I prefer David Lee Roth. But
that's
I will listen to all of it. Like, I love Eddie's playing. It's just, I could talk about it all day.
Even the Gary Sharon era.
That's my answer to that.
That's enough.
Nothing.
Enough said on that one. Oh boy.
It just
that's-
was a weird. Eddie was kind of going through it. Like, it was just weird. I know he really liked that album. Like, he was really upset when it didn't do well, and I feel really bad, but I also am kind of like, well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's the results kind of speak for themselves sometimes, and unfortunately, you can put a lot of work. It's like when people put so much heart and drive into making a film, and the film comes out and nobody likes it. And it's like, well, what can you do? You know,
Right.
Sometimes it just doesn't hit people the way it hits you, and that's okay. Art is subjective. All art is subjective.
Right.
Just like podcasting is subjective. Some people love
That's
what
the
we
beauty.
do. Some people just absolutely do not. Corey, the people love you. Where can they find you when they want to tell you how much they love you?
Oh, far from, my friend, but they could find me at CD Morset on Twitter and Instagram. They could find me on my other show on Aerosmith, Backtracks Aerosmith Revisited. We're breaking down the entire Aerosmith catalog, and we're going to come up with the ultimate Aerosmith mixtape. So I believe as of this recording, we have 6 songs on the mixtape right now, and we're going to keep adding them as we go. So you can check us out there as well. And Mark, where can the fine folks find you?
Well, you can find me at Mark the Bat on Twitter and Instagram. Feel free to drop me a line. Tell me that I'm doing okay. Tell me that I'm doing awful. Tell me how many times you want to see David Lee Roth kick me in the head with his old legs, because that would just humor me to no end. But definitely check out Backtracks. Check out all the shows on the Deep Dive Podcast Network. There are so many to choose from. You have an old, or not old, I'm sorry. If you have a rock band that you love that are maybe a few decades old, don't worry. These guys got you. We have every band you can possibly think of that's pure rock and roll at the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. Give those guys a check them out, listen to them, subscribe. Do us a favor. Check out our website. andthepodcastwillrock.com. We've got merch. All of our episodes are up there. Whenever we have news outside of the podcast, something, relatable, we'll post about it. We're working on that. We'll have some stuff to tell you. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for checking in. Thank you, Kelsey, once again for being a guest on this show. We love having guests. We love having people who are enthusiastic about talking about this band that we love, because that's what it's all about. Talking about the band that we love, and the band is Van Halen. This is And the Podcast Will Rock, and we will rock you later.